Hello, everyone. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning,
Isn't it?
and I wanted to take the time to talk to Sensei about something that I've always felt was important, something I'm not very good at, and I've gotten better at it and paid some heavy prices. And Sensei has been a master of that, and I wanted to open a discussion about the grace and the truth, how important it is for us to be graceful, be nice, be nice, be nice, but at the same time, we have to be able to speak our truth. And when we don't do that, we don't get what we want. And why are we, most martial artists that I know, not everyone, but most people, are, even though we're in a confrontation business, but we don't like confrontations. We avoid confrontations. And sometimes confrontation means telling a student that they're not doing a good job being a student. So we put up with it, we put up with it, we put up with it. Then they quit, or we just don't. I don't speak my truth enough, and I know you're a master of that. So I wanted to kind of discuss with you, what are your thoughts about?
Well, I don't know about a master, but yeah.
But I mean, what are your thoughts about? Because you have a good
Sure.
habit of clearing the air. You
Yeah.
always tell me, "Hey, what's up? Like, tell me your truth. Tell me your truth. Don't beat around the bush. Like, tell me what's your truth." What are your thoughts about that?
Well, Sensei Fariborz, in the truth, there's a responsibility in the truth. And not everybody wants to take on that responsibility in that truth. It's almost like it's easier not to tell the truth because it's less painful. But
In the moment.
In the moment.
Short term.
No, in that moment.
Right.
But to me, is sometimes, is not how you say, it's not what you're saying, it's how you say it, and when you say it will make a difference.
Right.
And in that truth, it's about timing. Because if I needed to say something to you, and I know you wouldn't gonna like it, then all I have to do is look in your eyes, and your eyes tell the truth. Whether you're happy, glad, mad, sad, the eyes tell the truth. And I would actually say, okay, I see he's not ready to take this information of whatever I have to say. Okay? And so I don't say it. And maybe a half hour later goes by and I look at you and I say, oh, your eyes changed. That means the way you're feeling is changing. So I tell you, I have something to tell you you might not like, but I need to say. And you say, well, tell me.
Right.
And I tell you, and all of a sudden you look at me and you say, you're right, I didn't like it, but I respect it. You start to respect that truth. And so a lot of people don't tell the truth for a lot of different reasons. Is because they don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Take responsibility in that truth means, it's going to come back at you. And at the same time, sometimes we don't want to hurt people's feelings. So there's a lot of different reasons why, the truth is not being told right at that moment. But there is no better time than the truth, unless you look at somebody and they're ready to accept that truth. Because no matter what, it may be your truth, but it might not be their truth. And so when somebody says, well, this is the truth of it, well, they're saying, well, that's the truth of how you're perceiving it and how you're looking at it. But I don't look at it that way. It's not my truth.
But by just speaking about it, you can clear it.
Well, you know what? It's never clear because sometimes when you tell somebody the truth, they get mad. And their son, you had great friendship, now you don't have friendship. Because now they're mad at you because you said your truth. And saying your truth, sometimes people are not ready for it. And so that's why I said, timing is really important when you're telling the truth to somebody that you care about. If you care about somebody and you're saying, I need to tell them the truth, I say, well, say the truth, but say it when they're ready to accept it. Because if they're pissed off and you're saying all you did is started a war.
So you're going to have a little bit better timing to judge the timing better if you care about them.
If you care about them.
I think that's a trick word, right? Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
A lot of people don't care, and they just say, I'm going to get it off my chest, and this, and you know what? They get it off their chest, but the problem is with that is it didn't solve anything because all you did is got them mad, and now you're no longer friends, right. You're no longer lovers, you're no longer anything, right. Because they wasn't ready to accept that truth. And I think timing with people sometimes that you're not, when somebody you really enjoy and you really, you really love and like, and you know they're not in a good place, but you need to say something.
Right.
And if you don't have the timing to say it, if you really didn't, you didn't solve anything and you didn't make anything good happen because I needed to air it from me. So it really is, truth is important when you say it and how you say it.
But and it's also true when I'm not being truthful about telling my truth to people that I care, maybe I'm doing the same thing to myself.
Well, you know what?
I'm not being truthful to myself and what I need and what I feel to myself, and that's going to be the key thing, right? So if I'm not truthful to myself, it'd be hard to be that to other people.
Well, sometimes, it's like, don't tell me the truth, lie to me. It's much easier to handle. I
Right.
can handle that lie much better than the truth, because the truth sometimes is painful, and it triggers certain things way back in our life that brings it forward that we try to forget, numb, hide, act like it doesn't exist. And that truth is always going to be there. You can't run from that truth, because everywhere you go, there you are. You can't run from you.
Right.
And so the truth is really, really important, to be truthful to whoever it is that you care about. Because sometimes when you don't care about them, you're just saying, hey, boom, you just shout it out there and let it go. But again, that is your truth.
Right, not necessarily the absolute truth.
Yeah, and so you're saying, if you're saying, this is how I look at it, this is what my belief system is, because it really is about our belief system. I believe that this is the truth, and you're saying it's not the truth. Well, that's your belief system. My belief system says this is the truth.
Right.
And so when you talk about the truth, Sensei Fariborz, is a very strong word. It's a very powerful word. It's a very painful word, and it's a word that people are ready to die for.
Right.
You're going way back to the biblical days. People die for in their belief system and what their truth is and what they've been taught. And so to this day, it's important to be truthful, but it's the timing of being truthful. Okay? And it is not like, I just got to get it out. So then it's about you. It's not about them.
Right.
Because if it was about them, you would be, sensitive to if they're ready to receive the truth of whatever, how you're perceiving it and how you feel about it. Right. It's your truth right there and then. But if you care about them, then you will look about if they're ready to receive whatever it is that you're ready to tell them.
And that's a huge thing in teaching students.
Absolutely.
You need to be
Absolutely.
truthful. And one of my goals, I know that I learned this from you, is I want to fire students before they fire me. I want to pull them out and get accountable and hold them accountable to, hey, you said you're going to be doing this. You're not doing this. And I think this relationship is not win-win anymore. I want to wish you well. And I've seen you do that. And there's a part of me is like, oh my God, what if you lose a student? But it's like, so what? You let them go and they'll respect you more, And
how true that is.
Yeah,
There's
right.
truth to that.
And that's something that most people that are listening probably martial artists and they're martial art instructors, and I think that's really important as teachers for us to be truthful with ourselves, with what we offer, and don't make us any bigger than what we are. If we never competed, don't call ourselves world champions. I don't know how many of those there are in the world, sitting by one right now. But you know what I mean? I think people try to make themselves a lot bigger than what they are, and they're not truthful to themselves. And how can they be truthful to other people if you're not truthful by yourself? Or making ourselves bigger than what it is.
Well, again, you're talking about there are different type of teachers. I've mentioned this before to you. I said there are teachers that really are not what they're good. They become car salesmen. Mm-hmm. They sell it like, they really don't know anything about it, but they sell it like a car salesman.
Right.
And then you have, I mentioned before, then you have, the people that like to teach in a way, they teach in a way that I would like to be taught, which they'll teach me the inner ways, the outer ways, and they'll teach me why. Instead of teaching me saying, this is what it is and that's it. there's no more to it. And I said, well, I have questions to it because of the way I've been raised, the way I've been born, and so forth. I had students come to me and say, you wouldn't understand me because I come from a different country and I was raised different. And so I asked them, I said, maybe your language and what you eat is different and where you were raised different, but is your fear, is your anger, is your frustration, is your anxieties different than mine? Mm-hmm. And he looked at me and said, oh, I guess you will understand. Because again, deep inside, we all go to the bathroom the same way, except some go to the bathroom upside down. But I think that people are people, and we all have certain habits. And somebody that's teaching, if you a car salesman, then all you know is I'm selling it as a business. If you're an instructor, then you're instructing as going almost like this is the curriculum and this is what I'm doing. No more, no less. I'm just staying with the curriculum. And then you have really teachers that will teach you something, how to do it, teach you how to do damage, teach you how to heal it, and teach you balance of it, and teach you there's a responsibility behind it.
And be truthful.
And
have mercy.
You know what, like anything else, have mercy is one thing, is to be able to knowing that I just gave you a gun, a loaded gun, and you're responsible for that loaded gun. And so if you should ever point it, you make sure that you're protecting, and it's about defending.
Awesome.
Hey, whether it be mental, physical, spiritual, your family, but you're defending. And this is the only reason why you should pull that weapon, that gun to use.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time.
My
Sensei.
pleasure.
And look forward to getting together with you again and discussing more stuff.
Beautiful. Excellent.